Tonight we've seen not one, not two, but three title changes. We saw WWE add an acquisition, and we saw a wrestler in the triple threat match sell his soul to the devil. And we're going to get into all of that. Just so you guys know, if you want to know my thoughts on NXT, Stand Deliver, you can go watch that episode. You can go watch it after this one. It was a great Stand and Deliver. It was awesome, by the way. It was really awesome. Now I'm going to take me a little swig of juice here before we get into it. Good cranberry. So, first, by the way, I have this on because it's really hot in my room. Yeah, it's really hot in here. So, first, we had the pre show, and on the pre show, found out that WWE has acquired AAA. Yep, they acquired the AAA promotion. So we are getting Lucha Libre in the WWE universe. Yep, acquiring wrestlers from Mexico. And not only that, but June 7th, we are getting When Worlds Collide. Yep, 20 years after the first Worlds Collide. What is it, 20, 10, 20... No, 30. Yeah, 30 years. Sorry, my bad. And that will be taking place June 7th. And it will be in LA. And it will be at 3 p.m. Definitely cannot wait for that. I am going to get me some Taco Bell for that one. And from what I saw in the advertisement, it's supposed to feature not only AAA, but NXT and WWE. So we are going to be getting the main roster stars, the NXT stars, and we'll be getting AAA. So this looks like this is going to be awesome. And, I can't wait to see what they do with this one. I really can't. And then we have also Bailey got injured. She got attacked. Don't know who it is, but Lyra Valkyrie has 24 hours to find a partner for WrestleMania. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this could be Becky Lynch. Because and I really hope it is, because even though we saw the news, Becky Lynch was at a comedy show. She said, like, oh, I'm not going to be at WrestleMania this year. I'm done with wrestling. Maybe one day I'll come back to it. But we saw Becky Lynch at the Hall of Fame. For those of you who saw the Hall of Fame last night, she was there with Seth. So, this could lead to it. We could possibly be seeing the return of Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, which, if it is, that'd be so cool, because you have both Irish ladies in there and them being the women's tag team champions. That would just be so awesome. I would love to see that, and plus I miss Becky Lynch. I really want to see Becky Lynch come back, you know. But we'll find out on night 2 of WrestleMania. So now we're going to get into night 1. We started off night 1 with the World Heavyweight title match between Jey Uso and Gunther. Yep. Also, I had some pizza as well. I finished the rest of my Parmesan stuffed crust pizza with cheese. Yep, cheese. And I had some garlic bread twist. And tomorrow it will be Easter Sunday, and I will finally be able to eat some meat. Yes. I'm going to eat me some meat. So cannot wait for that. Anyways, on with the match. Uh, you know, Jay Uso, he came to the ring. He came out of the stands once again, and on the stage, he had some people. He had some dancers, and on stage, in the hoodies and having the Yeet flag, and then also in the stands, he had the Viking Raiders cheerleaders, which was awesome. Yep, cheerleaders, and then on with the match. I mean, it was just a hard hitting, physical match. I mean, at one point, Gunther was giving him these chops, and um, Jay laughed him off. He laughed off those chops. And he even gave him a few chops back. And if you look closely, there was a little bit of blood coming out of Jay's chest as well. But then, Jay, he made a comeback, and he finished off the match in a way where nobody thought would ever happen. He put Gunther in a sleeper hold and made him tap out. Yep. So we have a new world heavyweight champion, Jay Uso, making Gunther tap out. Nobody saw that coming. I did not even see that coming. And it was a great match. I gave it 5 stars, a classic, a great way to open WrestleMania. And it was the bomb. And like I said, this is going to start, Gunther's downfall. Like, he's going to go through a period where he starts to doubt himself, and now he's going to try and pick himself up. And we're definitely going to see that. As for Jey Uso, uh, I mean, his title reign, I mean, I don't know how long his title reign is going to be. I mean, if it were up to me, I would probably have it. Let's see, it's April, so May, June, July, August, September, October, November. I would probably end it at Survivor Series, let him have a good 7 month title reign, and then build him back up to get the title, or better yet, have him lose the title at Survivor Series, have him win it back at the Royal Rumble, and then lose it at WrestleMania, and have him and Braun Breaker go at it for the world title. I mean, because Braun Breaker, it's time to get Braun Breaker ready for the world title. So to have Jay Uso and Braun Breaker, I mean, we've seen them battle for the Intercontinental Championship, but now to see him battle for the world title, I mean, that would be awesome. So I think that's where I would go with. That's what I would go with, but we'll see what happens. Until then, yeet. Next, for the WWE World Tag Team titles, we had the Raiders. I said Rakers. The LA Rakers. The Viking Raiders versus the New Day. And they had a good tag team match. And of course, the New Day cheated, held down one of the Viking Raiders' legs as one pinned him. And, you know, it was really about time. The Viking Raiders, it was time for them to lose the tag team titles. And, now, we can see the New Day have a bit of a title reign, as heels, because they haven't been heels in a while. So to see them as tag team champions as heels, and now we're going to see them feud with other tag teams, maybe like the LWO, I mean, so, definitely gonna love to see that. And it was a good match, not a great match, but a good match. I gave it 4 stars. So we'll see what happens down the line with those two. I actually thought for a while I thought Big E was gonna get involved, but he didn't. So yep, I think it's official. He's done. Yep, he's done. Next, we had the grunge match, Naomi versus Jade Cargill, and great intro for Jade Cargill. Like there was a guy from, I forget his name. He was on Pat McAfee's. He's on Pat McAfee's show, and he was, being a weather guy and saying like, "Oh, there's not a cloud, there's not a cloud in the sky," and then then came like some heavy winds, and then rain with sleet, and then we had Jade come out there, and those two put on one heck of a match. I mean, the the best spot was when Naomi, she did the X Factor on Jade Cargill right onto the mat, from the ring apron, and it's just hard hitting, and there was some other cool spots, and Jade Cargill, I think she really did prove herself this night. She proved that she is ready to be a singles champion. Whether that's the Women's United States Championship or the or the Women's Championship. Jade Cargill is ready, and I mean, of course, they're going to continue on with this feud for a while. But Jade Cargill, I mean, she's an amazing wrestler. She has improved, and she's definitely ready for singles competition. I mean, but it also doesn't mean that her and Bianca won't team up again. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna see them team up again. Pretty soon. So next for the United States title, we have Jacob Fatu and L.A. Knight. Yeah. And that was another hard hitting match. I mean, those two went at each other. Actually, L.A. Knight, he had a cool entrance too. He came out there in I think it was I forget the name of the car, but he came out in a white car, and and the crowd, went wild. And the wild spot of the night was when Jacob Fatu like leapt off the top rope. Yeah, he was trying to do a moonsault, and um, LA Knight caught him, and for the blunt force trauma BFT, and he got to the ropes, causing to break the count. And Jacob recovered, did a splash off the top, and got the 3 count, and he is the new United States champion. And LA Knight, he's somebody that they also have to start building towards the WWE Championship as well. I mean, I would love to see him, with you know, win the undisputed title. I think next year for WrestleMania it'll be Braun Breaker and LA Knight's time. I think it's going to be both their times. It's going to be time for them to be in the main event positions, and so for that, we need LA Knight to like, we kind of need him at that point to, like rise up in the ranks. He needs to go up through the ranks and what have you. Like matter of fact, actually, I could probably see him winning Money in the Bank if they ever put him in Money in the Bank. If he's in Money in the Bank, he'll be one of the people that I'll definitely be rooting for. And he's somebody who can hold on to that Money in the Bank briefcase for a while, and then maybe cash it in at WrestleMania. I mean, that could also happen as well. You know, but Jacob Fatu, new United States heavyweight champion, and will we still get a feud with Solo? Probably. Like Solo, he'll be like, like, okay, you got the title, and then like he'll really put the knife in his back, or I should say in his throat, with the Samoan Spike, and this will lead to Solo versus Jacob. And also, Haku came out there at the end of the match too to congratulate him. So yeah, we had Haku out there. So it was always nice to see him. And yep, that was the match, and I gave it 4.5 stars. Next, we have Ariana Grande Americano versus Ray Phoenix. And no, I will not stop doing that joke. Get used to it. Originally supposed to be Rey Mysterio, but found out last night that Rey Mysterio hurt his groin and he was not medically cleared to wrestle, which is unfortunate because I was looking forward to this match. But instead, we had Ray Phoenix and El Grande Americano, and they had a good match too. I mean, their match was pretty good as well, and of course, I mean, there were some good spots. When Chad put this the steel plate in his mask, and and Ray went to go kick him, and then that hurt his ankle, and then he got an ankle lock, and we thought he was gonna tap out, but he didn't, and then he got headbutted, getting flying off the top rope, and then we saw the flying headbutt, and El Grande Americano won the match. So they're definitely going to continue on with this. I think um, it'll probably be Ray Phoenix that, or somebody from the LWO that steps up and tries to unmask him. And also, we also got a little interference from Vin King, or I forget his name, from the AAA promotion. He's the current champion, but yeah, he like kicked El Grande Americano before the match began. So again, for pushing, the acquisition with AAA, and I think that the acquisition of AAA is going to be great. We're also going to. I mean, we know we're going to get the AAA library as well. That's going to be added soon to the WWE network as well. So we get to probably watch some cool classic matches, and I hope that they add the When Worlds Collide, the original When Worlds Collide event on there soon, because that's something I would love to see. Because that's where we saw a young Rey Mysterio wrestle. I actually saw that match on his first DVD, and we also get to see Eddie Guerrero's match on there as well. So I really hope that we get that on the network soon. And next we had the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, and these two went at each other. I mean, rang, from the moment the bell rang, it was, you know, I mean, those girls, it was a fist fight, and actually, I thought like those two were really being snug in the ring. I thought they were really hitting each other hard, and and they were really playing this up. I mean, this thing. I mean, at one point, Charlotte. Charlotte chopped Tiffany while Tiffany was on her knees, and she said, "Get up, bitch." I was like, "Oh man." And also, a few times I heard Charlotte drop the F bomb, going, "Fuck." you know, so, yeah. And, they attacked each other's knees, and, it's just it's just a grueling match. And then Tiffany hit the prettiest moonsault ever and got the win. So, yep, Tiffany, establishing herself as, you know, she's establishing herself as like the new queen of WWE. And of course, we all know this isn't the end of the feud. This is gonna continue, and Charlotte's gonna get her win back. And it's like I predicted. I predicted that Tiffany would win, and that but Charlotte would get her win back, and then Tiffany would have to go chase her, and we'd probably get the match at SummerSlam. And that's a match I actually would love to see. I mean, I think this has the potential of being a great feud. And it really established Tiffany as a top star, and for Charlotte, I mean, Charlotte will always be around. I just think that they might in the next couple of years they might try to like wind her down and stuff like that. I mean, I really do think that the era of the four horsewomen is starting to come to a close now. I mean, we could still possibly see Becky come back tomorrow night, but if not, then it's like she's gonna be in Hollywood. Mercedes, Sasha, she's over there in AEW, and I mean she's getting a run, but it's like half the people don't like her, half the people do like her. Um, Bailey, Bailey, is still good in the ring. She can still go, but it's like her character is like kind of stuck. I mean, people want to see her go back to being the hugger. She kind of doesn't, and as for Charlotte, I mean, most of the fans are kind of like a little over Charlotte, except for me. And they think that now it's her time to step down and just go away and stuff. But but yeah, I do think that the era of the four horsewomen is really starting to come to an end. I mean, all good things come to an end. I mean, we got Roxanne Perez. She's going to be coming up soon. We got Stephanie Valkyr. We got Julia, and on top of that, we got Tiffany. We got Rhea. We got a whole bunch of other girls: Lyra Valkyrie, Chelsea Green. So, it's a pretty stacked division right now, for the women's in both Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So, so yeah, like that era is coming to an end, unfortunately. So in the next two years, the four horsewomen, I mean, they'll probably still wrestle. I mean, I know Mercedes will probably still be wrestling, and I could probably see Bailey like maybe going into Hollywood or and maybe Charlotte too. I mean, I know Charlotte acted in a movie, but I could see her going into movies as well. So, but nevertheless, Tiffany Stratton, she got the win. Um, and like I said, this feud is far from over. Yeah, far from over. And 5 stars. I mean, it was the best um, women's match on there. It was much better than Naomi and Jade. I mean, Naomi and Jade was good, but this one was far better because of the intensity and the anger and the feud. I mean, it was everything. So, and finally, we had the main event, the triple threat match between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth freaking Rollins. And this was a knockdown, drag out fight. I mean, at one point, the fight even took place in the stands between Punk and Rollins, and Roman Reigns did this dive right into the crowd on them. And we saw some other cool spots in there. We saw a lot of near falls, and I mean, there was even one point where it looked like Seth and Roman were gonna double power bomb Punk through one of the tables. Seth was like, "Look, we need to take him out. He's the outsider." He was telling him all this, and it looked like Roman was gonna go ahead with it, and then Roman, hit him with the tiger uppercut, you know, and then power bombed Punk through the first, through the announcement table with Barrett, Cole, and McAfee, and and these were like new tables, by the way, that they had. They had these like new tables, and they had like the WrestleMania thing, and but it was like it didn't look like the tables we have been used to seeing that broke. And so when the power bomb happened and the table broke, and Pat McAfee, he said like, I didn't know these tables could break, and after he said that, I was like, neither, neither could I. Neither did I. And then Roman power bombed Seth Rollins through the Spanish announcement table, and I mean, that was incredible because we haven't seen the new tables like break or anything. They looked unbreakable, but these ones, I mean, I don't know how they managed to do it, but it happened, and I'm glad that they did. And then came the ending. So in the ending, Paul, everyone's still wondering what's Paul gonna do. Whose side is he really on? Um, Gets the chair, and he's he looks confused. He doesn't know what to do, and then he gives it to CM Punk, and it looks like Punk is gonna hit Roman with it. Heyman helps him up, and then it looks like he's gonna hit Roman with the chair, and then Paul Heyman, boom, low blows him, and he goes like he hands the chair over to Roman, saying like you are my tribal chief. I acknowledge you, and and it looked like Roman was gonna hit Punk, and Paul was like, no, wait, 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 look at him. There's Seth. This is the Shields all over again. This is yours. It's yours. Gonna recreate what Seth did to Roman. With the Shields on Raw, and just when it looked like Roman was about to hit him with the chair, boom, low blow by Paul Heyman. He low blows Roman, and the crowd was shocked. I mean, first I was definitely shocked with the turning on Punk. I was like, and when it happened to Roman, again, the same look. It was just, and yeah, and then Seth, he, hits Roman with a chair, just whacking at him, and then did the stomp, got the 1, 2, 3, and Seth Rollins wins it. And of course, it goes back to a couple of weeks when Seth, he says, "Now it's you that owes me the favor." So, and Paul Heyman, he walked out with Rollins, and you know, and both Punk and Roman Reigns, they were very upset. They had a sad look on their face, and after Rollins left, and Roman left, and then Punk left, and Punk actually kissed the mat. He kissed the mat because it was his first WrestleMania, main event. And you know what? Even though he didn't win the main event, it was just awesome just being in the main event, because he had never main evented WrestleMania before, and this was good for him to main event. It was just awesome for him to do that. And I gave that one 5 stars as well. I mean, we had a 5-star match to open WrestleMania, and we had a 5-star match to close WrestleMania. Well, at least night one. At least for night one. And I mean, night two, I mean, they got some competition, man, and I hope that with night two, it delivers. I really hope it does. And also, we had some celebrities because it's not WrestleMania if we don't have celebrities. We had Jelly Roll do God Bless America, and he was later on was sitting in the crowd. We had the Airbender Azrael from the UFC there. And also, speaking of the UFC, Dana White was there. Yep, we had Dana White, and also behind him was Jim Gray. Jim Gray was there at WrestleMania as well. We had Stephen Amell there, longtime WWE fan. We had George Kittle from the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, he'll probably be really disappointed when he finds out that Bailey won't be wrestling tomorrow. And we had Little Yachty. Yep, Little Yachty was there. and then we had oh, I forget her name, Indian girl. Um, she's a WWE fan too. I keep forgetting her name, but she was there as well. And also we had Rick Rubin. Yep, Rick Rubin was there, and of course, Rick Rubin, a long time, excuse me, long time WWE fan, just an old school wrestling fan, and it was just nice seeing him there. You know, the guy, was one of the founding fathers of Def Jam. With LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, Run DMC. He even produced the Ghetto Boys when the Ghetto Boys came out, and has worked with Eminem as well. I mean, just a great producer, and has won 9 Grammys too. 9 Grammys. That's incredible. And um, and I mean, WrestleMania was just awesome. It was off the hook. Got to eat some good pizza, and tomorrow it's gonna be some meat. Yep, some meat. I mean, it's been too long since I've had some meat, and now I'm getting ready to have some. So can't wait for that. And I'll be back here tomorrow night for night 2 of WrestleMania. And it's actually surprising because the show started at 7 and it ended around 10, like sometime after 10:30, like close to 11. Whereas most nights, even when they started with the night 1 and night 2, it would go on till like about midnight, and stuff. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I kind of like this, I mean, and I actually thought it was going to be going on till midnight as well, but unfortunately it didn't. I mean, I was kind of expecting a long night, I mean, I mean, as a wrestling fan, I don't mind staying up way, way late, watching wrestling, but, we can't have what happened at 35, happen again. I mean, people getting home late and stuff like that, especially when you have a 2 night event. So when you have a 2 night event, there's at this point there's no excuse to have it go on until about until midnight and stuff. And I when I say that, I mean the actual show, not the post show and the press conference. I mean that's afterwards. And when that happens, that happens when WrestleMania is officially done. And speaking of that, I'm gonna upload this episode right now, and I'm gonna go watch the the press conferences. Because I love those press conferences. I actually haven't seen, I yeah, I haven't seen one since the Royal Rumble, so I'm definitely gonna go do that right now. And yep, that's it. I'll see you all tomorrow night for night 2 of WrestleMania. Until then, this is Matthew Burris saying toodaloo, motherfuckers.